Alright friends, this strategy works like this. Whenever we see a candle with a large body in the market, and after that, a candle forms with a relatively weak body and a long shadow, this can happen right after the large candle or a few candles later. It doesn't really matter. The key is that the shadow and body of the smaller candle should be completely within the body of the larger candle. There might be one or two candles in between, and that's not important. It could happen immediately after the large candle or with a gap between them. When this happens, we draw an SNR line starting from the tip of the large shadow of the weaker candle. This will be our resistance line in this scenario. Now, additional candles may form a red candle followed by a green one and maybe another green and red candle. These don't matter too much, but as soon as a candle rises and touches the SNR line we've drawn, we immediately place a downward trade right at the point where the candle touches the line. What we expect is that this candle will form a shadow similar to the previous one. In other words, as soon as the candle touches the line, we open the trade and we see that the candle will likely close lower, leaving a shadow. It might form a shorter or longer shadow, but there's a very high chance that it will form one. Essentially, the gap and large shadow from the previous candle need to be filled. When the price touches the SNR line, we place a downward trade, aiming to profit from the shadow of this candle. Sometimes the situation might vary a bit. For example, a large candle might appear with a smaller candle inside it, but the shadow is short. Or another larger candle forms afterward with shorter shadows. But these aren't the ones we're looking for. We're looking for a candle with a weak body and a long shadow. Once we spot that, we draw an SNR line from the shadow's tip. The next candle may form immediately after, or there might be some space between the candles. It doesn't matter. Once the next candle touches the SNR line, we open the trade. As a result, the candle will form a shadow, and we can profit from that shadow. Now let's review the chart together. We will look at past market data to find examples where this pattern occurred, and I'll also try to find a few live opportunities to trade on. I should mention that this setup might be a bit harder to spot. It's not something you'll frequently see on the chart. However, it's my responsibility to teach you different strategies and techniques, so when you encounter such situations, you'll know how to make a successful trade. I'll now go back and check the charts, and if I spot a suitable opportunity, I'll also place a trade. Alright friends, here's what I mean, and I'll show you this on the chart to make it clear. We see a large red candle with a strong body, followed by a green candle, which we're not concerned with. After that, we have a green candle with a weak body and a long shadow, and this entire shadow is contained within the body of the previous large red candle. At this point, we should draw a line from the tip of the shadow of this weak green candle. Let me draw this line and I'll make it a bit clearer so you can see it better in the video. We've drawn this line exactly from the tip of the shadow of our green candle. Now moving forward, whenever the candles come back and touch this line for the first time, meaning after we've drawn the line from this candle at the first touch, we should immediately place a downward trade. As of now, the market has moved downward and no touch has occurred yet. I'll continue searching through different parts of the chart to find an example where this happens so I can show it more clearly. Alright friends, please pay attention here as I have a very important point to explain. Make sure to keep this in mind. Here we have a strong, powerful candle as I previously described. After that, a candle with a weak body and long shadow formed. If we draw an SNR line from the tip of this shadow, as I explained, everything looks fine because the body of this weak candle is fully within the previous strong candle. However, moving forward, we see that at the first touch, the line is broken and the price goes up. Why does this happen? First, it's important to understand that too much time shouldn't pass before this touch happens. The line doesn't remain valid forever in the market, meaning the first touch shouldn't happen way down the line in the future. The first few candles are the ones that matter. For example, if this green candle had touched the line here within a few candles, it would still have been valid, but you can't rely on the line for an extended period. The second and even more important point is that you must consider the strength of the trend and the candles. Look here, after the setup we see a powerful green candle with a lower shadow, showing strong buying pressure. This candle is very strong, with a solid body, and it pushed the price up significantly. The next candle follows without any significant shadow, just a very small one, and it has moved a significant distance up to reach our line. This indicates a strong uptrend with steep momentum, and the two candles together show a sharp increase in price. Given the strength of these two candles and the upward trend, you shouldn't expect the price to reverse at the line because the market is moving with strong momentum. As you can see, the price broke through the line and continued upward. So, two key points to remember. First, pay attention to the strength of the candles and the trend. And second, don't rely on the line if too much time has passed. If the touch happens within the first 7 to 8 candles after the line is drawn, then it's still valid. Alright guys, take a look here. We have a green candle with a large body and no shadow. After that, there's a weak red candle with a relatively long lower shadow. When I say relatively, I'm referring to the ratio of the body to the shadow of the candle. If we had drawn an SNR line here, this red candle would have been fully inside the large green candle's body. We can see that 2 more candles formed, and on the third one, after we drew the line, the green candle came down and touched the line. As soon as this candle touched the line, we would have opened an upward trade, and you can see we would have profited from it. The candle came down, formed a shadow, then moved back up and even closed green. Alright. Here again, we have a similar setup with a large red candle, and both the green and red candles afterward can be considered in this case. It doesn't make much difference as they are both fully inside the body of the large red candle and have long shadows. Now, if I draw the SNR line from the top of this red candle's shadow, we can see that the first touch happens right after. Even though it's a close touch, if we don't count it, the next red candle makes a full touch and even crosses the line. At any point where we placed an upward trade, even if we opened it exactly on the line, we could have profited from the shadow of this red candle. Well, here I've drawn the line. We have a large green candle and this red candle with a weak body and a shadow formed afterward. As soon as the red candle touched the line, I opened an upward trade. The trade opened at a great spot, and even though the price crossed the line, we can see that the candle's body is still moving upward above the line. It's even possible that this candle will close as a large green one. If it turns red, it will likely be a weak red candle with a shadow. Now we'll wait for this trade to finish and see what the result will be. To easily and freely register with the Quotex broker, click on the link in the video description. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, I said it wouldn't be surprising if this candle closed as green, and as you can see, we have a large green candle followed by a weak candle with a relatively long shadow. The shadow is longer than the body. I drew the line here, and when the candle moved down, I was fortunate enough to open the trade at a great spot. The price crossed the line, and the trade was opened. Even if we assume the trade had been opened directly on the line, the candle still moved up. Even if it had closed as red, it would have been a weak red candle. But we saw that it continued to move upward and closed as a green candle. This shows how we effectively use this strategy to achieve a solid profit. Alright, take a look here, guys. We missed the opportunity to trade, but it's still worth reviewing. We have a large red candle, and this green candle has a long shadow that is completely within the body of the red candle. I drew the line exactly from the tip of the shadow, and as you can see, I used white for better visibility. The next candle touched the line, and if I had seen it in time, I could have placed a downward trade and profited from the small shadow that followed.
Dear friends, to make sure you don't miss any of our videos, please subscribe to the BS Academy channel. Also, activate the notification bell so that you are informed as soon as we publish new videos. Thank you for your support.